The most important part of tautomerism, there are two important things here to remember. The first one is that it is there with dynamic equilibrium. So it involves dynamic equilibrium. There is continuous change from one isomer to another isomer, right? Let us consider one example. Suppose we have this compound CH3, C double bond O, CH3, right? So this CH3, I can actually rewrite it as CH2 and H, correct? So which type of compound is this? This is actually a ketone, right? C double bond O is between two alkyl groups, so that is a ketone. Now this compound is found to be in dynamic equilibrium, that is, it changes to some other form. What is that other form? That other form is, or before actually seeing what is that other form, let us see what actually happens. So this hydrogen which is here, this oxygen which is a slightly electron negative, so what it will do, there is a double bond here, so this oxygen takes this electron with itself. Okay, I mean from the this double bond breaks and oxygen takes that electron. Now the carbon has valency, I mean unsatisfied valency, there is vacancy of electrons there. So now next is what? Next is hydrogen. Hydrogen actually breaks from this, and this bond breaks with, and hydrogen doesn't take that electron. Hydrogen actually attacks or gets attached to this carbon which is having less electron. So what we have here now, or what we actually get here, is a compound like this, CH3, C, single bond O, and this H doesn't go and sit with carbon because oxygen has extra electron, so it goes and forms a bond with oxygen. So H goes to that part, right? And then we have, obviously there is a double bond here, so double bond shifts and it comes to this part, and this will be CH2, C, CH2. Now if you say this, the second compound, can you tell me which compound is the second, I mean which family is, does it belong to, the second compound?
Aldehyde.
Second compound, aldehyde.
So this one, okay, sorry. Alcohol.
Alcohol. Any other answers? Is it alcohol or is it enol?
Yeah, enol.
The OH group is connected to a carbon which is having a double bond. So this we have seen in the beginning. Such groups are not called alcohol. Such groups are called enol. So what do we see here is the ketone changes to enol form. And this, again, this is something which you will study later. That is when you will study ketone. In that chapter, you will study the same thing. Right. So what we see here is that this, what is tautomerism now? So if we have to define tautomerism, what we can say is this is nothing but structural isomerism or isomers in dynamic equilibrium. That's what is tautomerism. Now, next we'll see when this tautomerism happens. This is an example, but we should have a generalized condition for tautomerism. So that is the next topic, which is structural requirement for tautomerism. So tautomerism will happen when these structural requirements are met. So let us discuss them one by one. First requirement is, as we have seen above, this there should be a shifting in bond. So there has to be a multiple bond, first thing, and there must be an electronegative element connected with that multiple bond. Otherwise, there won't be this shifting in bonds. There won't be shifting of electrons. There won't be relocation of, or you can say delocalization of electrons, and there cannot be, if that is not possible, there won't be any possibility of breaking of old bonds and formation of new bonds. So that must happen. So what is the first thing? There should be at least one electronegative element, right? Plus, obviously, multiple bond. So multiple bond with electronegative elements or atoms. So few examples of that. Let us see that. It can be C double bond O. It can be C double bond N. Right? There is a double bond and there is an electronegative element. C triple bond N, not just one double bond. It can be even triple bond. C single bond X. X is halide, so that is electron negative, but there is no multiple bond, and actually halogen will not be able to form multiple bond. So this is not the case of, or not a candidate for tautomerism. Although there is an electronegative compound, electronegative atom attached to carbon, but that is not the candidate, right? Others say, for example, you can have C, all single bond C, then connected with a nitrogen, and that is connected with oxygen. So even that is possible. Then you have carbon, again connected with nitrogen, and this carbon is all single bonds, but the nitrogen is connected with a multiple bond with oxygen. So even this is possible. Here also there will be, and so this is nitro group. So here also all these are candidates for tautomerism because they have multiple bond and they have a electronegative, at least one electronegative element. So that was the first requirement. Now, what all functional groups will be there, which will give you this condition, or where you will find this condition. These are just the examples, or not basic examples. Let us see what all functional groups will be there. So in the first point itself, we are discussing different functional groups. So the functional group here now will be divided into two categories. One category is the functional groups with carbon, and another is without carbon. So functional groups without carbon. Let us see that what all elements are there or how it happens. So it is like this. There is a without carbon we are seeing. So the functional group which is attached here can be halogen, can be OH, can be NH2, right? It can be NO2. So these are all functional groups which are there, and these functional groups don't have carbon, HSO3 or ether. So these are different functional groups. Now, if that is the case, what we are seeing right now is something else, that is the alpha position. So if that is the case, now we have to identify the alpha position. The functional group is there. Now just after functional group, the carbon, this is not the carbon, first carbon is here. Now that carbon will be called alpha carbon. The immediate neighbor will be called alpha carbon, right? And next will be beta, next will be gamma, and next will be delta. So what we are doing right now is we are trying to identify alpha carbon because alpha position, because our next requirement depends on that. So these are the functional groups without carbon. Same way, there are some functional groups which involve carbon. Functional groups with carbon. So what all functional groups are there which has carbon or where carbon is part of the functional group? So mostly you will find things like this.
COH,
Yes.
double bond,
This
OH,
double bond,
double bond,
and after that,
OH.
correct. There can be H. This is acid or aldehyde.
Yeah. This is aldehyde.
This is aldehyde. Okay. Next, instead of that, there can be R. So that makes it
Ketone.
Okay. Instead of that, if there is an OH, that makes it
Alcohol. I mean acid.
acid, right? Acyl chloride, not
Okay.
chloride, acyl halide. And if it is OR, this becomes an ester,
Ester.
right? And if it is NH2, it becomes a amide.
Amide.
So these all functional groups, this carbon is part of the functional group. The carbon which is here, that is part of the functional group, right? And if you see the chain, you can say that these, here we started with X, right? It started here, it started here. The next to that X was alpha, but here next is the same carbon which actually is part of the functional group. So that cannot be alpha. Alpha is this. So this is what I wanted you to know. That is how to identify alpha position. This is alpha position in different compounds, right? That is functional group without carbon, functional group with. If it is without carbon, the first carbon is. If it is with carbon, we'll have to leave that carbon which is part of the functional group and then start giving them positions alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. Right now, once we are clear with that, then we go to the next requirement or next structural requirement, and that next structural requirement is that at least one hydrogen should be there at alpha position. At least one hydrogen at.
So why can't it have the the first condition, like the one with when functional group attached with C?
What?
Why can't it have functional groups not attached with C?
No, we have taken both them, but the thing, you are confused with this. The position of the, I mean the location of this holds, this is applicable for both. There are two parts here. Alpha position in different compounds, that is without carbon and
Okay.
with carbon.
Sorry. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Let me see if I can. It is for both. Okay, so now coming to the alpha position. At alpha position, there must be at least one hydrogen, and that carbon at the alpha position must be a single bonded carbon, or whatever atom is there, that must be a single bonded atom. So this is an important point, that this has to be single bonded. I am not talking about hydrogen. Hydrogen will be always single bonded. What is single bonded? the entity or the atom at alpha position, that must be single bonded. So what does it mean? It means this. Suppose I have this compound CH3C, the one which we have already seen, that is O, then C, and it is having H, H, and H. So what do we see here? There is this is the functional group. Now, what is the alpha position? These two are the alpha position. This is alpha and this is alpha. And there, the alpha position, what is there at alpha position? Carbon. And is carbon having all single bonds? Yes. And is there a hydrogen attached to that? Yes. Right? So the conditions which we have seen from the beginning, there is a double bond, multiple bond, and electronegative compound. Yes. Next, come and see whether there is alpha position or not. Yes. At that alpha position, whether we have a hydrogen or not. Yes. That alpha position atom should have all single bonds. Yes. So now it satisfies both first and second condition, right? And so what do we see here? This carbon is actually a single bonded carbon. So when we say single bond, we actually mean this, that this atom at alpha position should have all single bonds, right? So this is candidate for that. If there is no single bond, then that won't be applicable. Now let's move to the third condition.
Sir,
Final. Yes.
does this mean that it shows hyperconjugation?
There will be hyperconjugation as well, and if you remember, hyperconjugation is also there, and we have seen that it is there. Again, this almost similar thing happens there as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so our third condition is if alpha position has double bond, then next to next, that is not beta, but gamma position or gamma hydrogen must be considered for tautomerism, right? If not, if you can say conditions which we have seen above are not satisfied or not met at alpha, then consider gamma position, and that means we have to apply the same rules at gamma. So it is alternate positions. Alpha is left, then go to, leave beta as well, go to gamma. So let us see an example to understand this. Suppose we have this C, double bond O, then C. So if we consider this double bond O, then this C is at alpha position. Then suppose there is a double bond, carbon, and after that there is a single bond, carbon, and that carbon has all single bonds. So now see here, you have this C double bond O here. So that makes this as alpha position. But at alpha position, we have a multiple bond. So there is a multiple bond at alpha position. So that's why we will not consider this as the candidate for tautomerism. But what we see again is that this is alpha. When we move further to say beta and then gamma, then at gamma again, because now if you see, instead of this, I can actually think about this part now. And this part is what was there in the beginning. That is the carbon having double bond with some electronegative. So this C double bond O is electronegative. and that electronegative is having a multiple bond with this carbon, which is right now showing itself as beta, but then it will become the functional group, and after that there is a carbon. So this carbon which is at gamma position, that will be actually alpha for this group. I hope you understood, and if not, let me show this once again, that this can be, we can think of this as C double bond. After that there is a group here which is electron negative group, right? And then that carbon double bond with this electronegative group, which is beta here. Beta in this, this carbon and this carbon are same. And then there is a carbon, and there are all single bonds. So now if I consider this in this, this is the carbon having double bond and functional group attached. So this will be the alpha position. And if this is the alpha position and there is a hydrogen here, there must be hydrogen as well, right? That was our alpha hydrogen, at least one alpha hydrogen. So if there is an alpha hydrogen, say H here and H here, so you have alpha hydrogen, you have carbon with double bond with electronegative group. So now this, instead of, so what we say that in this group this is gamma position, in this group, or if we see this, then that is equivalent to alpha position. So if condition is not met at alpha position, then we have to consider the gamma position. So there must be gamma hydrogen, and this is nothing but resonance. I mean, this is part of resonance as well. So we will see that later as well. OH group, I mean this H will still come and join itself here. That is due to resonance. So you can actually draw its resonating structures and see if you are able to draw it or not. So what actually happens is, so we are considering, it's just that we are considering gamma hydrogen for this. And if we have to understand the flow of electron, let's draw this diagram or the structure once again. This is C double bond O with carbon. This was alpha carbon having a hydrogen, right? And then it was having a double bond with carbon. This is beta carbon, and then that beta carbon was connected with a carbon, that is gamma carbon, and there must be a hydrogen here as well. Other hydrogen we don't care. There has to be alpha hydrogen, there has to be gamma hydrogen. Alpha hydrogen must be there. So alpha hydrogen is there. So this position is alpha, this is beta, this is gamma. Now how this electron transfer or movement happens? This attracts its electron.
The H from gamma goes to,
yes, and this comes here.
Yeah.
That is the part of resonance, you can say. And then this H leaves, and there is a double bond formed here. So the structure, that is the dynamic, it will establish a dynamic equilibrium with a structure. And how will that structure look like? That structure will be again C single bond OH, double bond C, because the double bond came there between the first C and the alpha carbon. There are other bonds also, but we are not writing that. Let us include that as well. Okay. Okay, then again, obviously here there is a single bond. Hydrogen is still there, or whatever is there, that will remain there. So this C bond is complete. Then as you can see here, this is your alpha B and beta carbon. Now beta carbon and gamma carbon will have a double bond, as you can see here, which will have two valencies satisfied by other groups. And the hydrogen, as we have seen, which has left from this, has actually come here, right? So this is the hydrogen which has moved. Again, this is still a ketone. The first structure is still a ketone. And if you see the second structure, that is still a enol. Right? So that is about tautomerism. Again, we will have this tautomerism in the ketone chapter, the carbonyl compound chapter. Yes.
So can you explain the mechanism again? How did you get the hydrogen in the second carbon where when it only formed OH? How did that one H remain? The alpha carbon.
That will then where will it go?
One of the H went to OH, right? And then the bond breaks.
So there are two
Okay,
hydrogens here. There are two
yeah.
hydrogens here, right? Out of that, one is there with OH and other is there itself. I mean, it can be even other groups as well. It's not like it will have only hydrogen here.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And that hydrogen won't go there, obviously, because there is double bond between alpha beta carbon as well as there is double bond between C and O. So there are two options for this carbon to go. Plus there is resonance. And if you draw the resonating structure, you will see that the double bond, because there is conjugate between these double bonds, right? A double bond B, C double bond C, right? So the conjugate, if you want to say, see the resonating condition, it is here A double bond B, single bond C, and double bond D, right? So this is a condition for resonance. So resonance happens, and you will see that it doesn't. This is not the only structure it has. It has a resonating structure, and that's why the contribution of this structure is less or not 100%. So that's why this hydrogen doesn't behave as the alpha hydrogen behaves in the previous case. That is here. So that is the importance or impact of single bond. If it is single bond, it won't cause resonance, and that's why alpha hydrogen itself will move to that O. But if it is double bond, then due to double bond there will be resonance, and due to resonance this H will not move from here, and gamma hydrogen will actually move to the oxygen.
So this one is aldol condensation, right?
That will be next part of this. This is you can say this is keto and enol form, which you will study in the aldehyde ketone chapter.
Yeah, I mean this is the intermediate step.
Yes, and after that, I mean, condensation is nothing but you can say joining together of multiple molecules. That is called condensation. So that happens in that these molecules are involved. So you can say that this is an intermediate step or a step between or in the path of aldol condensation.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all for today. We will, that is all about tautomerism. Not all about tautomerism. We have few more topics, but that we will discuss when we'll study that chapter, that is ketone and aldehyde chapter. So that time we'll study this in more detail, but what we have done at this time, this should actually help us in understanding the tautomerism or this concept at that time when we'll study this in detail.
Have we done with the first chapter? Are we done with the first chapter?
In first chapter, I think elimination reactions are there. Sorry, there is this we are done with nucleophilic substitution. Electrophilic substitution is there,
Substitution.
the concept wise, and then we have to just
Yeah.
go through the different reactions. That's all.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay then.